Chris Ortiz, what are your thoughts on Anthem, the company that owns Impact Wrestling, cutting their ties with Jeff Jarrett and GFW? That's an interesting question. I think with regards to Impact Wrestling, TNA, call it what you will, I think it's WCW all over again. They keep prolonging and prolonging the inevitable, but we've seen this coming a mile away for years. TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever you choose to call it, or some have called it total nonsensical action, it's going to go the same way as WCW because too many bad decisions are made. There's booking is poor from what, especially all the years that I've heard it from Oni, particularly when during season 4 of RDR, where we practically begged him to stop reviewing it. That took a while to get that through to him. Ugh. And also, they made the biggest mistake ever by going out on the road, because as soon as they go out on the road, it's like, oh, we didn't realize it would cost us $600,000 an episode a week to go from town to town. It's like you were better off staying in the Impact Center in Florida on a weekly basis. All right, you're not touring the country, but at least you're not literally having to get out savings you've put away for years and actually then have to cull your wrestling roster because they were so knee deep in debt. It's like, I don't know. They just needed to rethink a lot of things and what have you, but I don't know. And it wouldn't surprise me, say, 2 to 3 years down the line, Vince McMahon buys TNA, because I can see it happening. And it should remind a few people, Vince McMahon bought WCW for a very cheaply sum of $7 million. And keep in mind, this is a company that was rated to be worth $350 million when Eric Bischoff was able to get that company in its prime. But the fact it was worth $7 million, it's like, that's chump change. That's probably what McMahon spends in a month. Mind you, I'm probably exaggerating here, but I don't know. Wynn, did you ever keep up with TNA? Or was that never your thing?
I tried at first because when it first came out, I noticed that there were some former WWE staff on there, such as Jeff Hardy. This was back in 2005, I think.
Right.
Late 2005, early 2006. And I started watching for a bit. It wasn't bad, but I noticed as I did watch, the backstage stuff just became cheesier and not in a good way. And the matches, they just weren't really all that fun to watch.
I've only ever seen about 10 to 12 minutes of a TNA episode, and it was the one with Kurt Angle reading cue cards of why he hates Jeffrey Nero Hardy, and I'm like, this is WWE's competition?
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I still can't believe Oni showed this to me to this day, it was that match between Jenna Maraska and Sharmell, which has been dubbed as the worst worked match ever. I looked at them, I'm like, what? I mean, these two made Kelly look like Trish Stratus. And you've messed up if you're able to make Kelly look good. I mean, and to be fair to Kelly, physically, she looked the part, but in the ring, absolutely sloppy, and she never bounced off the ropes properly. She would just sort of slightly bounce off it, like she had a slight allergic reaction. But so glad when Beth Phoenix took the title off of her. I think it was Night of Champions 2011 when that happened. And that was like a month after they screwed Punk out of the title. That's when Nash returned. Ugh.
Why?
Exactly.